Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. I regret to inform you that the Zoomers have discovered Filthy Frank and are now calling all of his fans racist. So I'm about to drop the biggest spoiler in YouTube cinematic history here. The successful musician Joji is the same individual responsible for running the legendary YouTube channel TV Filthy Frank. Now seeing this image, probably a lot of you had a burst of nostalgia. This is one of the most iconic channels in YouTube history, whether it was through his Frank character, Pink Guy, Salamander Man, Safari Man, or any of his other characters. He has earned a place in YouTube history. He has billions of views. It is always going to be relevant in the history of YouTube. You can see the red bars. They're all completed. I've watched every video he's ever uploaded, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well. But as most of you already know, he has moved on from that channel. He retired it a few years ago and has moved on to pursue a more serious music career, one that is wildly successful, by the way. You see, like, even his Spotify here, nearly 24 million monthly listeners. I can't stress upon you enough how crazy that number is. But here we are with the main tweet that is the focus of today's video. It is a screenshot from TikTok that has 82,000 likes on Twitter, which states, "Admitting you used to watch Filthy Frank / Idubbbz is just another way of saying, yeah, I used to be racist." Now, of course, 90% of the replies are focusing on Filthy Frank, but Idubbbz is also brought up, so we'll talk about him later in the video. But before we get into this insanely stupid statement here, let me just get a pet peeve off my chest here. I hate Twitter gimmick accounts. They are completely obnoxious. Some of the most annoying people ever. There's a 99% chance that a gimmick account is ran by some annoying spurg. And this is the case right here. So if you don't know how Twitter gimmick accounts work, basically they pick some sort of a gimmick and they post images based on that gimmick, and that is it. No opinions, no comments, nothing. Their job is to post screenshots of other things. In this case, wild TikTok screenshots is all this person's supposed to post. But of course, they had to put their little signature on here, right? The for real, showing that they stand behind this outrageously stupid statement. Like, let me remind this gimmick account their whole purpose. Your purpose is to post wild TikTok screenshots and then wait for a sponsor to give you $10 to promote their butt plug in the replies of your tweets. That is your existence. Nobody is asking for your unwanted opinion. And in this case, you're co-signing something that is incredibly stupid, okay? I hate using terms like media literacy, especially when referring to a YouTube channel, but these people have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. If you genuinely believe that Filthy Frank existed to promote racism, you are a brain-dead, drooling troglodyte. You have completely missed the point of his entire channel. And there's also another very bizarre situation going on. This has been happening for years, where people are discovering this connection between Joji and Filthy Frank. It seems very obvious to a lot of people, but a lot of Joji's listeners are younger people who never encountered the Filthy Frank channel. Now, here's the thing that's interesting is they always try to cancel him after finding this connection, much like the TikToker cancel his fans at least. And the thing that's funny is, like, these people are the kind of people to have a panic attack if someone misgenders their pet. I can't even imagine if these people watched one of Filthy Frank's videos. They would go into a coma from the shock they would see because of the edgy humor. But a lot of people like this, and probably the person who posted the original tweet, they always probably wonder something like, how did Joji move on from his edgy content? How did he go into a career, a successful music career, after everything he had posted for years onto YouTube? Well, here's the thing that makes this very easy to solve. Filthy Frank in that whole channel is a character. Filthy Frank is a character. That is not a representation of who Joji is. Nobody is confusing Joji with Frank. I mean, here is the much ignored about section of Filthy Frank's channel. This has been there as long as anyone can remember. Let me read it for the people who genuinely believe that he was promoting racism. Let me read this about section. It says, "Filthy Frank is the embodiment of everything a person should not be. He is anti-PC, anti-social, and anti-couth. he behaves and reacts excessively to everything expressly to highlight the ridiculousness of racism, misogyny, legalism, injustice, ignorance, and other social blights. He also sets an example to show how easy it is in the social media for any zany material to gain traction/followings by simply sharing unsavory opinions and joking about topics many find offensive. There is no denying that the show is terribly offensive, but this terrible offensiveness is deliberate and unapologetic parody of the whole social media machine and a reflection of the human microcosm that social media is, or maybe I'm just effing R-worded. Yes, but this makes it abundantly clear that this is a character. Anyone who believes otherwise is an idiot. But nonetheless, you have a lot of people pointing this out, thank God, in the replies to the main tweet here saying, when Joji was making Filthy Frank videos, he was being ironic. Nowadays, people don't know what that is and won't ever understand, which is sad but very, very true. Irony, satire, parody, even offensive humor, all of these things are completely misunderstood by younger people nowadays. Any of these things that Filthy Frank did would get you canceled nowadays. Nobody had a problem with them back then. They understood the ridiculousness of its nature. But now, like if I went on and made some edgy joke that would have passed on the Filthy Frank channel, if I did that right now on Twitter, I would be canceled. Even if it was blatantly obvious that I was making satire or exaggerating for the purposes of being edgy, I would still get canceled because that's how it is. Not I might get canceled. No, I would be canceled. I would guarantee it. That's why things like satire and irony and edgy jokes are pretty much not found on the current social media landscape because people are so afraid of the consequences. But here's the thing too, and it's very important for the next part of this video. Joji clearly has moved on from Filthy Frank, but he is not ashamed of his past. Hence, the reason the channel is still up to this day. And the fact that people show up to his concerts in pink guy suits, for example, and he points them out and has fun with the references. There's even subtle references to his past content in many of his current interviews and things like that. He is clearly not ashamed of his past, but he has moved on. But that is very different from the next person we're about to talk about. So in that tweet, it wasn't just Filthy Frank. A lot of people focused on Filthy Frank and Joji in the replies and quotes, but Idubbbz was also mentioned. Now, here's the thing with Idubbbz. There is so much history to cover, and especially from the past couple of months, you can watch other YouTubers for more in-depth breakdowns of everything going on with Idubbbz, but I will give a very quick summation of my feelings involving relating to Idubbbz. It's very simple. So, Idubbbz is another very hallmark person in the history of YouTube, millions of subs. He, much like Filthy Frank's channel, gained the majority of his audience back in the day through edgy humor. He even collaborated with Filthy Frank many different times. He now, over the past couple of years, and in particular the past couple of months, has made it very clear that he has moved on from his edgy content. Not only has he made that clear, it is very clear that he renounces that content. And worse yet, it's very clear that he renounces the fans that he attracted with that content. Now, this is something he's addressed many times over the past couple of months through many different YouTube videos. Now, he has not only renounced his past, he is also begging for forgiveness. The Twitterification of Idubbbz is really sad to see. He genuinely believes he is a terrible person and has to pay for the sins of his past. He genuinely believes he created a whole generation of racist men because of his edgy humor, which is truly, truly sad to see. Now, like I said, there's one thing to be apologetic about your past, but one of the things he's done in response to make up for his wrongs is to delete videos, including his content cops, and in particular his one on Tana Mojo, for example. The funny thing about that is that Tana doesn't even care. He deleted that video, and he has apologized publicly to Tana in some of his videos, and even she came out to say recently that she deserved the content cop. She didn't agree with the edgy jokes of the video, but she understood the underlying reasons for the video, and she believes that she deserved it. And she also doesn't even care for the apology because it's been so many years and it's over. And she believed that she was in the wrong for things she did in the past. It's very, very sad to see. But one of the common themes for Idubbbz over the past couple months is this forgiveness thing. You know, he's trying to beg for everyone's forgiveness. And again, there's nothing wrong with moving on in terms of your content. If you want to move away from edgy humor, that's totally your right. But there's a big difference between doing that and literally thinking you caused a whole generation of racist men and that you're a terrible person. You have to carry this weight for the rest of your life. He said that verbatim. He believes he's going to carry the weight of what he's done the rest of his life. It's just so much. But the main reason I have a problem with Idubbbz is the way he denounces not only his past content, but his past fans as well. Like, I'm sure every person has grown to the point where if you look back 4 to 5 years on old videos, including myself, I'm sure I look at stuff and think, wow, that's cringe. Or maybe I don't really believe that anymore. Or my views have evolved over time. But there's a big difference between that and turning around and judging everyone who supported you during that time. It is a pretty vile thing to do, and it's something that he has made very clear. It's very clear he holds a level of contempt for his own past fans. And it's obvious in interviews like this.
I did not like the interactions that I had with fans. There were quite a few human beings that I interacted with that just sucked because I attracted a lot of people who sucked. Some people were very much like antisocial, weird, basement dwellers. You know, the one time a month that they come out of their cave and they run into me, their favorite YouTuber.
And what would they say? What would they do?
Things that I am certainly not going to repeat. I'm talking bad words.
Words that we only say by describing the first letter?
Yeah, exactly. Man, what a powerful way of putting it.
So now going back to this tweet, I think it's very obvious at this point what the difference is between Filthy Frank and Idubbbz. When it comes to Filthy Frank, it was very obvious that it was a character. That Joji was playing a character and it was separate from who he was and what he actually believed. But with Idubbbz, it's not clear. And he's done a complete 180. He might claim now that his edgy jokes in the past were part of a character, but it wasn't obvious at the time that it was a character. That's why people would be confused. That's why it's so easy to separate these two. Now, everyone plays a character to a small degree at least. I mean, when I come on here and talk, these are my genuine beliefs. But of course, you have to hype it up a bit for the purposes of entertainment. That's the whole reason we're here. But there's a big difference between playing a character and having that exaggerated version of what you actually believe. And many people thought that's how Idubbbz was for all these years. Those jokes, those edgy jokes and edgy nature of his content was a representation of what he believed in or what he thought was acceptable. And now he's done a 180. And it's fair to point that out as a criticism that maybe he's just trying to save face at this point. And it's certainly not fair to go back and judge the people who supported you back in the day when you had a very different set of content that you regularly posted. But nonetheless, that's going to do it for this video. It's a very strange thing to see, but clearly people are still trying to cancel people for supporting Filthy Frank. And that was the main purpose of this video. I'm glad I got the thoughts about Idubbbz. People have asked about that, but I just want to give my quick spiel on him. But the main focus was Filthy Frank, and it's sad to see a younger generation not understand the entire point of his content. But that's going to do it for this video. Please share all of your thoughts. Maybe share your favorite memories of the Filthy Frank channel, by the way, in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.